All right, folks. So we've been watching Brad Garlinghouse, Monica Long, and the team from Ripple represent Ripple and the broader XRP community so well at the World Economic Forum here in Davos, Switzerland. And we also got to recognize that Circle was present, Stellar. I've heard from many people in the comments. They let me know that I believe Cosmos. I'm trying to think of. I think Algorand was there as well as HBAR and maybe a couple others as well. So we are getting representation from the digital asset community at the World Economic Forum in Davos. Very good to see. But as always, Ripple showing out, Brad with the most class. And I wanted to highlight why it's so important. Many people don't like the agenda of the World Economic Forum, and I understand that. Neither do I. I don't like all the characters that are showing up there either. But it's important that we go confront the enemy, right, on their home turf. We can't be afraid. We can't dismiss it. We can't just think that these guys are just going to go away. These guys want to control the world. They want to control humanity's destiny. And it's up to us to show up and be represented. And so I believe that Brad is representing the good people. I believe, the good guys and the good gals. I believe that Brad is on our side. I truly do. And, if I see information that tells me otherwise, then I will change my opinion of Brad Garlinghouse. But as far as I can see, he's a small town USA boy from Kansas, and he's leading one of the greatest financial, fintech companies in the entire world. And Ripple set for world domination, along with the utilization, obviously, of XRP and the XRP ledger. Our ecosystem's growing, and the whole idea of a level playing field so important. And so just like Trump, who went to the World Economic Forum and smacked them right in their home turf. He showed up, and his whole speech was against a lot of what they're trying to do. And I believe that is the way. Whether you love Trump or not, I think that we can all respect the fact that he showed up to that platform and really hit at home the hypocrisy and the fact that if we're going to talk about the level playing field, what we can do to actually introduce that. Not just talk about something, not just virtue signal, not just buy some carbon credits, but actually solve humanity's biggest problems and bring about this level playing field that we talk about. Now, Javier Milei, the new president of Argentina, also showed up, smacked the World Economic Forum, and that was just earlier today that he shared that update. And similar to that, that is why I'm so happy to see that Brad Garlinghouse is there. Obviously, Stellar showing up as well, a couple other cryptocurrency companies, but we have to go confront the enemy wherever the battle is going to be at. And I believe that we do need forums for world economics to be talked about. Now, I don't agree with everything with the WEF. That's fine. But we need these open public forums for debate. And we need to talk about these ideas out in the open. And I'm a fan of that. And I'm a big supporter of the good guys showing up to Davos and letting them know how we feel. Now, before we get into that, I wanted to share a couple things, couple key takeaways. So we just had the Coinbase hearing, and that's going to be wrapping up today. And we're going to hear from the Coinbase lawyers along with the SEC lawyers as they make their final case. But we did get this summary from day one of the hearing that took place. And this is Paul Grewal, who was the chief legal officer at Coinbase. He says, after hours and hours, this much remains clear. The SEC continues to claim broad authority over all investments while offering no limiting principle to its definition of investment contract. The SEC cannot unilaterally expand and redefine its own regulatory ambit. This should be left up to Congress and the ongoing legislative discussions about regulatory frameworks that are currently taking place. Coinbase does not offer securities. We are confident in our legal arguments and look forward to a decision that will bring much needed clarity to the industry. We appreciate the opportunity to present our case, and we thank the court for its careful consideration. So it does appear that we're going to get a little bit more clarity on crypto through this case, and it had to be this way because the SEC wants to continue with their agenda, regulation through enforcement, before they get any sort of mandate from Congress. They're just assuming the power, and they're going on the attack, and this is why we got to continue to push back against them. Now, continuing on, we did hear this one from Trump. Speaking of Trump, we did hear this one from Trump today, and I know that many people on both sides of the aisle are a fan of this right here. Donald Trump saying, as your president, I will never allow the creation of a central bank digital currency. Such a currency would give our federal government absolute control over our or over your money. Well, this is an interesting statement because we have to be clear, okay, if we don't want CBDC because we don't want federal government to have control over our money, we have to ask who has control of our money now? And then we take a look at the Federal Reserve and we understand that there are no reserves and it has nothing to do with our federal government. So one cannot be a fan of the US dollar and the relationship that we have with the Federal Reserve now and be against the CBDC because we're worried about it, giving too much control to the federal government. The federal government has no control right now. And one might argue that that's part of the problem. One might argue that the Federal Reserve, needs to be definitely audited at the very minimum, but we also should probably end it or, rearrange the relationship that we have with our Treasury. And funny enough, that's exactly what Trump did during his administration when he kind of merged the Federal Reserve under his powers in the Treasury and kind of reined it back in. And he did that right before he obviously left office. But Trump coming out today and saying no CBDC, he's going to stop it. And as I've been saying for a while now, I think that there's going to be a serious fight over CBDC in America. I think it's inevitable in many countries. But the United States, our people, many of us, have concerns about this. And I have a concern about just how the system as it is today, like I said. No reserves, nothing to do with our federal government. It's a private group of central bankers, elitists, the type that hang out in Davos and think that they're the almighty rulers over humanity. I'm not a fan of that. And our Constitution and the way that our founders set up our country is not, a fan of, they would be rolling in their graves. I'm sure they are, as they're watching our country deteriorate. Now we get further insight here from Eleanor Terra, and a huge shout out to Eleanor for keeping us up to date all day on the Coinbase hearing and everything else that's taking place in the regulatory legal battlefront. But she shares this tweet right here from Representative Eleanor Mueller. Okay. Oh, sorry, this is not a representative. She's a reporter for Politico. My apologies. But she's reporting that GOP members of the House Financial and Agricultural Services Committee are gearing up to add new language to the crypto market structure bill regarding whistleblower protections, insider trading, securities definitions, and more. So maybe we will get a little bit of clarity from Congress eventually, right? Now, into our crypto update as far as the good news, we have Wrath of Kahneman here with a couple posts, very, very important. In August, XRPL user, I don't even know how to pronounce this. I'm not even going to try. I don't know how to pronounce that. I'll look that up and maybe I'll get the proper pronunciation. But this company right here has added 6 more currencies to their gateway. Australian, Hong Kong, Japanese yen, Singapore dollar, I'm assuming, New Zealand, and I don't know about the BHD. But we got 6 new currencies being added to their gateway for the XRPL. They're one of the few companies to use the XRPL for payments independent of Ripple. And this is what we've been talking about, is more issuers coming to the XRP ledger and issuing currencies and bringing more liquidity onto this XRPL. We absolutely love to see it. Now, speaking of the XRPL and settling with XRP, we have Ripple investor partner SCB interview with Brad Garlinghouse in August notes that about 50% of Ripple payment transactions are using XRP via ODL. Now, this is very important because just about a year or so ago, we had gotten an update from Brad and the team at Ripple that about 25% of their clients were using ODL. So we knew at the time that they had over 400 partnerships. Now it's 500 that are using RippleNet and ODL, that are using RippleNet. And now we know that about half of the payment transactions are using on-demand liquidity. So significant growth for Ripple customers and partners actually using XRP, the currency, not just using RippleNet. And the haters wanted to pound us on this one for so long. And we've been trying to say, hey, no, we're tracking this. And the use of ODL settling with XRP is growing in a massive way. We went from 25% of their partners to now about 50% of the payment transactions through RippleNet. Now, remember, they merged RippleNet and ODL, and now it's just called Ripple Payments, and they simplified it for branding and marketing purposes. So what we know right now is that out of all the transactions, about 50% of Ripple Payments are now using ODL. And I suspect that that's going to continue to grow. Further, RippleNet is first service provider for organizations that actually serve the purpose of usage while building credibility. Absolutely. Now, let's speak on this as we titled the episode here, Ripple heading to the World Economic Forum and this agenda. We don't necessarily agree with it. We don't agree with everything they're doing. And these guys are so hypocritical as they tell us to live like peasants as they touch down on the PJ. And as we can see this one from Mario Nafal in Davos, Switzerland, the sex workers are fully booked up at Davos. This year's WEF meeting at Davos appears to be heading in the usual direction of drug-fueled bunga sex parties. Local escort service website officially announced, quote, all local service providers are completely booked during the World Economic Forum week. So their theme of the 2024 conference is rebuilding trust. Meanwhile, they're touching down to do a little touchy-feely deal, aren't they? And as usual, we do not condone all of the activity that is taking place at the WEF, but nonetheless, we need to go confront the enemy in their territory. And we're going to catch them in between their extracurricular activities. Let me know in the comments down below what you think of this, guys. These guys are crazy. These people are sick, actually. Stellar touching down in Davos, as well as Circle, a few other companies as well, and we absolutely love to see it. Now, to me, it's a big difference, though, because when you look at these other companies, yes, they were able to make an appearance. I'm sure there's other crypto companies that sent representatives to sit in the crowd. There's a difference between sitting in the crowd and getting an invitation to, just show up, and a big difference between that and taking the stage like Brad Garlinghouse has now for multiple year after year. Not just doing little roundtables, not just saying, oh, I showed up, I did a little lunch, I did a photo op. No, actually taking the stage and really setting the agenda, representing the entire digital asset space. That is what Brad Garlinghouse and Monica Long did from Ripple, representing us so well once again. And like I said, for me, why I'm so happy that Brad and the team at Ripple showed up is because I know what they stand for. At least everything that I've seen from Brad. From seeing Brad Garlinghouse showing up in XRP Vegas for the XRP community, from seeing him do his first interview after the historical ruling from Judge Torres on July 13th, the first interview that he does is he hops on a Twitter space with the XRP community. Before he goes to CNBC and, does all these big shows, he comes to the XRP community first. And I believe that he's an American first patriot who is fighting for a level playing field. Obviously, he's growing a global company, and he wants the same opportunities that we had here in America that they're trying to take away for all of humanity and for all of the world. And that's what I can get behind. And what I also can get behind is showing up on the enemy's home field and not being scared, not backing down and showing up and saying, yes, save me a spot at the table. I'm showing up and I got something to say. And that's exactly what we also got from Javier Milei, the president of Argentina as well. Take a look at this one, folks. So Count Dankula on Twitter says, I was really disappointed when I found out that Javier Milei was going to the WEF summit until I got a few minutes into his speech, and he is just telling them that everything they are doing is wrong and effed up and the root of all the world problems. He's pulling a Jervis at the Golden Globes so far. And you know that actor, right? That famous, I don't know, I guess he hosted the Golden Globes when he basically roasted all of them, I'm not even going to say that. You guys know the deal, right? And that's exactly what Javier Milei did, and that's exactly what Trump did as well when he showed up in Davos. He continues on, and he has just crapped all over their socialist model and told them free market capitalism is the only way forward. I think he just Trojan horsed them to crap all over their ideology to their faces, but I'm going to watch the rest. He's now pulling out the stats and saying how from year 0 to about 1800, global per capita GDP was at rock bottom and never increased during that time. And the only thing that changed that was this free market capitalism. Amen. He is going hard with the stats, and the crowd is effing squirming. And that's what we love to see, applying pressure. Now, I still don't trust Javier Milei. He's backed out of joining BRICS. I don't know what the strategy was or what the play was there. I don't trust the guy. I don't trust any of these politicians to save my bag, to make me money, to feed my family, to make me live a happy life. I don't count on any of these politicians to do that. Not this guy, not even Brad Garlinghouse, not even Donald Trump. I don't rely on any of them, right? And so I started my business under Obama. I grew and I fought during Trump. I've been doing the same thing under Biden. We've been having great success, and I never count on any politician or any other man, woman, it, they, to take care of me and my family. End of story. And what I love to see is showing up, smacking them down, just like the SEC got the smackdown in the courts today. We got Javier Milei showing up and telling them how it is straight to their face, and I'm absolutely here for it. Brad Garlinghouse doing the same way, not really, smacking them down, because he knows. He knows that all of these elites, even the Jamie Dimons of the world that are talking like it's, pet rock still, on the back end, he knows what deals are being done, and that's why they're showing up in Davos, Switzerland. And I think that it's up to us to take control of the narrative, okay? Just because an institution like the WEF might not be what we agree with doesn't mean that we can just discount, disregard, and act like they're going to go away. That's what's going to allow them to continue growing their power and to continue to allow the evil ones to push forward that agenda of living like peasants, no purpose in your life, never reproduce, never create anything. And that should be the complete opposite of how we should be living, growing, creating, and really bringing abundance to humanity. Through a level playing field, through opportunity for all, that is all we ask. Get these these almighty rulers the heck out of our way, and just let us prosper, living freely with liberty and the pursuit of happiness. God willing, that's all we need. And that's what we're here to do. So guys, if you appreciate the update, please make sure that you like this video. Drop a comment down below and let me know what you guys think of Brad Garlinghouse showing up in Davos, all the other crypto companies showing up in Davos. To me, it has to be done. We have to go confront the enemy, and we have to take control of the narrative. I stand behind it 100%. Let's get it done. And as Brad Garlinghouse said, 2024 is going to be big. Let's have a massive 2024. Smash that like button. Drop a comment down below. Everything else can be found at my website, zachrector.com. And I will see you guys in the next one. God bless you all. Thank you so much.